We are live. Hello, everyone. I am Richard Millett, the one and only. And this is the quarantine stream. 67th one. A place of complete and total free expression, free voice, free mind, and a free soul, creating free art for you. Let us hear the ever beautiful, ever wonderful, ever lovely, evergreen quarantine stream theme, shall we? Hope you're all doing okay out there. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're able to identify propaganda and keep yourself, your brain, your family, your friends, your loved ones safe from it as well. There's more now than ever. I didn't write this. One of the greatest men who ever lived wrote this. You say you found Jesus Christ, and he's the only one. You say you found Buddha sitting in the sun. You say you found Muhammad facing to the east. You say you found Krishna dancing in the streets. Well, there's something missing in this God Almighty stew, and it's your mother. Your mother, don't forget your mother, lad. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Well, you may believe in devils and you may believe in lords, but, go out and serve yourself now. Ain't no room service here. Well, it's the same old story. A bloody holy war. A fight for love and glory. Ain't gonna study war no more. A fight for God and country. We're gonna set you free and put you back to the Stone Age. If you don't be like me, get it? You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. Well, you may believe in devils and you may believe in lords, but Christ, you're gonna have to serve yourself, and that's all there is to it. So get right back here. It's in the bloody fridge. God, when I was a kid, didn't have stuff like this, TV fucking dinners and all that crap. You fucking kids are all the fucking same. Want a fucking car now? Lucky to have a pair of shoes. Well, you telling me you found Jesus Christ, well, that's great, and he's the only one. And you say you found Buddha sitting on his ass in the sun. And you say you found Muhammad kneeling on a bloody cop facing the east. Well, you say you found Krishna with a bald ass dancing in the street. Well, Christ, now you're being heard. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. That's right, lad. You better get that straight in your fucking head. You gotta serve yourself. You know that. Who else is gonna do it for you? It ain't me, kid, I'll tell you that. Well, you may believe in Jesus, and you may believe in Marx, and you may believe in Marks and Spencers, and you may believe in bloody Woolworths. But there's something missing in this whole bloody stew. And it's your mother! Your poor bloody mother! She walked Freya in the back bedroom full of piss and shit and fucking midwives. God, you can't forget that awful moment. You should have been in the bloody war, lad. You know all about it. Well, I'll tell you something. It's the same old story. A holy bloody war. The Pope and all that sort. A fight for love and glory. Ain't gonna study no war, no. A fight for God and country and the Queen and all that. We're gonna set you free, sure. Bomb you back into the fucking Stone Age. If you don't do like me, get on your knees and pray. Well, there's something missing in this God Almighty stew, and it's your goddamn mother, you dirty little kid. Now get in there and wash your ears. if I may editorialize for a moment, we here at Flux, I think, believe in truth and beauty. And the fucking truth, first of all, it's a fucking myth. It's a myth perpetuated by cultural pedophiles who think that there is such a thing as your truth and my truth. There is only one fucking truth. And don't you ever forget that. There is only one truth. There is the truth. And the fucking truth is that action and inspiration is more important than your private acts. And greatness is a force in the universe. Due process, innocent until proven guilty. You know, there's a person who I hope is watching tonight. He knows who he is. We love you. We will always love you. We will always love you. This, I did not write this. This is written by one of the greatest men who ever lived. And he's still alive. We love him, and we will always love him. Oh, help me in my weakness, I heard the drifter say, as they carried him from the courtroom and were taking him away. My trip hasn't been a pleasant one, and my time it isn't long, and I still do not know what it was that I've done wrong. The judge, he cast his robe aside. A tear came to his eye. You fail to understand, he said. Why must you even try? Outside, the crowd was stirring. You could hear it from the door. Inside, the judge was stepping down, while the jury cried for more. Oh, stop that cursed jury, cried the attendant and the nurse. The trial was bad enough, but this is 10 times worse. Just then a bolt of lightning struck the courthouse out of shape, and while everybody knelt to pray, the drifter did escape. We are with you to the end. To the fucking end. You at home watching this probably cannot tell, but it is very cold down here. So. It's called I Walk with God. I walk with God. I walk with God. I walk with God through all my changes, during my happiness, and throughout my challenges. I walk with God. I walk with God, close to my memories, through my mistakes, past all my actions. I walk with God. I walk with God for forgiveness, for resolution, to see the stages I play a role in. I walk with God. I walk with God because I know it's easy to fall into false humility or to declare your own authority. I walk with God. I walk with God to try and understand as much as I can about the expanse of creation. I walk with God. I walk with God because of the moments where I see serendipity and grace expressed so sublimely. I'm only here to accept my responsibility. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. And as time went on, I felt more disconnection. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like until I had almost complete separation of myself. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. And this wasn't troubling. I thought it would help. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. And that I could make a true observation and learn and improve. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. But I found that the obverse was true. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. And that the more I remain detached and considering the reflection, I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. The more I became unnatural and obsessed with my own protection. I walk through a world I don't like. I walk through a world I don't like. This is called Oranges. I don't really like to talk about what these sorts of things mean, but I will make an exception here. This is about staring down the forces of evil. They seem fucking greater all the time, but we can defeat them. And we will. We always have. They've never won. This is called Oranges. Blue and red stripes laying on our bed, throwing chicken to the fish waiting to be fed. Flying fortress in the cold yellow light, electronic geysers marking the millimeters at night. The redwoods grew out of the lakes, then the horses and cougars came from apes, and after speaking formed their shapes. They wrote an alert, they planted themselves in the desert. The sky is one meal a day floating through hoarfrost. The orator utters proclamations under acid precipitation. Bodies and mind, yours and mine. Our energy is our vocation. The truth, the purified milk came from the amalgamation. How to eat to live and sleep underneath, to see the silent actions and keep what we dream. Right now, a machine exists to read your thoughts, and I'm called a fool. A fool is one who follows a stranger's rules, stealing coal and jewels, feeding their fixation and altering their gestation. One man is not a nation, one woman is not a nation. My knife slipped through the ghosts of Enoch Powell, Ronald Reagan, Mary Whitehouse, and into Abaddon's icy abdomen. This morning I went to work. There was a mouse on the road, running between cars, sliding over the snow. He got told by the acquaintance he doesn't know the real world. He told them, I don't think you know about the world outside your world. 'Cause we've come here to annoy you. We've come here to destroy you. No flies on her, no skies on me, or our ulterior alchemy. A spirit doesn't have flesh and bones. You can see that I do. A wave isn't solid, but it can slice through and bury you. The floor in his basement began to crumble. Let me say I won't eat meat if it causes my brother to stumble. And speaking of my brother, why do you live in a state of degradation, pressing away atoms of inspiration, continuing this dissipation? You said you formed all light and darkness, evil and peace, but you made yourself deformed and obese, a member of the secretive police. Screeching seagulls drop their feathers on the sphere, two sets of twins announcing that they're leaving here and ferrying out to live inside the windmills. The fog is too thick to see the pinnacles. Blue, red, and gray stripes laying on her bed, silver ovens making new bread, flying fortress in the breaking midnight, electronic geysers signaling for continual flight. This is called Sacrifice the Satellite. Moments before dawn, phone ringing, unable to suss if it was happening from impressions born in shallow sleep while lights flicked on in neighbors' windows. Or, as the drift seized me back in, we were gun runners trapped in a house, detained by police, threatened by rivals, but I was able to slither out a side door and snuck away to a cafe where I was supposed to summon assistance, but decided instead, the hell with them. I was called to a room. The walls of the hallway were blue, and when I entered, there they sat, looking exactly as they did in 1984. When one spoke, there was no sound from their mouths, but the words synced loudly in my skull. Crushed flowers float downstream in the rainwater, and handmade smokestacks drip steam on half-awake blades of grass. New nuns count the gray hairs of their predecessors as they scan old photographs. Will they question who's alive in heaven? Are their words papering a mountain? They will have a moment where they behold the beauty of an empty screen or unplowed, snow-covered street. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. Thick, shimmering splotches of gray grease liquefy and start to drip down rust-colored walls of skins, watched by a babe with a flashbulb embedded in their wrist, who sits on gouged black and gold tiles in the center of a disused ballroom dance floor among carelessly flung piles of metal prong monitors, cords, discs, spilled coffee grounds, broken vodka bottles, and asymmetrical platinum wigs. Every year there's a whisper the inventory will get a clean transfer. Winston Dubois knew the recovered money was wrapped in a mosquito net and secured in the back of a carriage. The horse stopped in front of an Air Force base, which got inadvertently captured on videotape, with the footage dissected by theorists for decades. Desmond Hampton learned Tony Chamberlain had double-crossed him as he drank milk and clapped erasers together outside his classroom. His signature had been forged and hidden throughout the system. The younger best brother thinks, if only I were a CEO buying companies whose names I don't know and could leverage my credibility to simultaneously flaunt my status and champion myself as an obscurity. While the older best brother thinks, if only I were an oligarch and had a tapestry of machinery to do what I want, live in seclusion, invest in rare art, and pay for a hooker who looks like my daughter. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. The beams of starshine light land everywhere and leave valley-wide fingerprints for 7 years. Minute glass tubes can shiver without bursting, squinting on glistening diamonds laid out on linens, spirals scrawled on maps of the location leading inside a puzzle box while fungus slides up to a microscope and mixes with vinegar and bleach. Circles of sapphires line the linoleum tile with a surface so improbably clear it mimics a screen. Lost in a world between are the souls who only dream when looking up. As far as my own material goes, this next one is probably the single most important thing I'm going to read tonight. I think I dare say that it contains the most significant information as far as tonight goes. This is called A Moderate Man. I went walking through the morning to enjoy the autumn air, and I came upon a clearing. Some folk from in town greeted me graciously as they stood waiting. Frank then strode into the center of the circle with 3 men by his side. Frank abruptly unfolded his note and started speaking. The 3 men reshaped in a line behind Frank as his inimitable voice intoned, "Men in masks shall not live on your land, for they are cowards whose spirits are trapped. Thou art born without caste. Your soul is unshared, and judgment shall not be passed or carried out by committee on your quiet acts." Frank, flanked by the 3 men, then swiftly left, while the crowd collectively shuddered, and there were mutterings of, "What Frank giveth doth not equal what he takes, heart of fowl, eyes of a snake, words of an apostate." I followed the trail back to my home whilst conversing with Pastor Corbett. Upon reaching my front gate, he looked me square in the eye and said, "Just because I am prone to help my neighbor in good faith, family or friend, that doth not make." This is called Swim to the Center. When I wasn't, I was offensive, outside the wave, weak without a mission, never gaining strength. Why not? Yes. The river slithers, the confession pathetic, center of the solid rock punched clear through. Only a human with a circuit, a sky with breath. The order must be ignored. Action and full action. And I am ready. Are you going to swim to the center or waste your time in space? Do you know your energy lasts forever? Or are you convinced we should be stuck in one place? So what are you going to do? Protect your ego and hide in some group? We're free and so are you. And you better understand that, because if not, we're all through. Are you going to swim to the center or choose not to act? Are you going to deny and try to feel better and create a load of crap no one gets? What are you going to do? Lie behind shame, slogans, flags, and fake facts? We are here and so are you, and you better understand that, because if you don't, we are all through. They made their worst mistake yet, the ruling class, the complex, the bourgeoisie. They gave me their weapons, their technology. I don't need sanction, I repeal status. I don't eat savage, I am savage. I'll bite your cheek, I'll burn your house. I'm not afraid of police, the only jail is in the mind. I negate misery, I channel the frequency. I'm free in the desert, I'm free in the jungle. I can even be free on your streets. I photograph myself in the glare. I memorize the shine, I focus that glare on you. The wrinkles in your face, the arrogance of your body, your fear and indulgence. My fear is free. My fear is complete. I am a tree on a plain. I am a cloud in a bank. I'm a blank canvas in a parade. Action is beautiful. Action is valid. What I see is invisible. We see together. What I feel is immeasurable. We feel together. What we make is untouchable. It's for the future. What we are is infinite. It's in the universe. Remember, wind is everywhere. Remember to smile at the air. Remember, you build each star. Remember to smile in the dark. Read this for those who are no longer with us, but they still are in one form or another, right? This is called Cheltenham Girl. This is for Beth. Some of us have not forgotten. Say it simply. Some of us have not forgotten. Like a cloud, beautiful sound standing before the signal. When the light shines on the ground, it reflects off the wheel. Parking lot next to the short desert. Let's start over. We're just going to start that whole thing over. I got lost in what I was saying. Apologies. Like a cloud, beautiful sound standing before the signal. When the light shines on the ground, it reflects off the wheel. Parking lot next to the short building on the edge of the desert. She sees it's harder to be a number when you're just starting out as a visitor. Cheltenham Girl. Cheltenham Girl. Clouds can't create the shapes they make or hold on to any rain. Precious, temporary, holding no domain. No machines, no cell phone or computers, clicking through broken links. Credit card, social security needed. She'll refuse to register. She really will. Cheltenham Girl. Cheltenham Girl. Every day, another wish, another mile, closer to the point where I can portray it. Until then, all I'll do is sing to her spirit. She will return. She will return. It's called Yes. The soundscapes fly from dusk, sterility restricted to their thoughts. Bleak as the day they were born. The concrete is in a state of flux, and the forest lies under a soiled blanket of lucid dreams. Pale-faced disintegration, and the awestruck penniless geometric cluster, and its meaningless tradition. For some quiet, they'd drink shattered glass. For some peace, they'd murder a stillborn baby. Savages behind closed doors, but who commits treason and defines what's pure? With the precise rhythms and the headache medicine, memories seep through like blood under a fingernail. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. Preface to manifest slavery, entire chapters to write, planets of aliens to conceive. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. This is another one for those who are no longer with us, though they are in one form or another. Yep. This is called Ruth Stearns. You are beautiful, and I'm trying to be more like you. Even though I was only 7 years old then, you're the only person who never censored me or told me to shut up. I watched you shrink 1.5 feet from cancer and lose all your hair, but I'll never think of you as a victim or powerless. I'll always think of you as regal, graceful, and intelligent. It's called Naïve. I'm told I'm naive for being a pacifist. Pacifism can't work, will never work. Is it naive to believe that human beings can live without the mutilation and destruction of each other? I don't think that's naive at all. I think it's naive to think that we can't make any progress, that we're stuck with our own worst images, trapped by bloodlust, captured by the racism of nationalism, that will never improve, and that we are nothing but doomed. Someone who thinks that suffering is necessary is naive. Someone who thinks that war is in our spirit is naive. Someone who thinks that sometimes you have to kill is naive. It takes courage to not extract revenge. It takes courage to see through someone else's weakness. It takes courage to not be blindly led into being an executioner. It takes courage to know that human beings have no reason to kill each other and that no situation calls for violence against another. called They Never Felt Sorrow. Mind recover recourse cavern, colic garlic wrapped in rape. Duck blood punching wino porno spinning span spew. Lacerating stomach bleeding howling dirge summer camp. Bitch boy never ending never mind I'm just your soul. Ass preaching psycho dancers wildly flashing life dance. Owl slop teasing jeering genocide clown of fools. Crucifixion, demigod, good morning, phallic moon, looking, lurking, thoughts stealing marquee peace lame. Understanding, underhanding, fetal gene spleen spill. Lip smart, claustrophobic exaltation, spreading love. Semi-happy sleep feather finger grinding sand, carpetbagger through the heart, silver bullet for all to see. Street scene, blue jean, bow tie, syrup, cracker kicking speed, flare monkey, overwhelming, coffee lush, dead unharmed, roast teeth, parking lane, culture store, house shock, sleepy diction, slicking rabbi, madly turned, tired heart. Syncopation, simulation, belt sanding, reaping now, obese iron stroll, lost forever, pointing blank. Flashing flasher, abstractly red writ, tax void, corrosion slicing, tire brain cell, paranoid, lumpen self. This is called Parallel Place. I live in a parallel place where the land is level, where the streets are bright in the evenings, and I know what tomorrow brings. I live in a parallel place where the wind is cold, where gray haired men sweep the bandshell and foxes sleep underneath church bells. I hear the lank haired women walking in the morning, their faces shaped by the sun. I live in a parallel place where there's endless electricity with very low voltage, where everyone dies of old age. I live in a parallel place where rain runs into a tunnel, where able bodied women clear the gutters and dragonflies rise in a slow motion flutter. I see the able bodied men hauling fallen branches, their faces shaded by the sun. I live in a parallel place where people speak in peace, where the foreman's spouse greets the mailman in a see-through blouse. I live in a parallel place where the forest faces east, where contracts are written in invisible ink and codes are created with a wink. I see all the people breathing through the day, their faces graced by the sun. Blissful cardinals, blissful infants, blue reflections magnified 10,000 times, blue beams bouncing off aged lenses, radiant artifacts, radiant heirlooms, white sails blistered by the salty sun, white china stacked up in cupboards, shining domes, shining necklaces, green feelings balanced on a yardstick, green parchment weighted down by grapes. This is called Sympathy for the Cowboy. Sympathy for the cowboy, all alone on the range, After the war ended, he was forced to change his name. Sympathy for the Cowboy, holding his dying brother, who begged with his last breath, "Tell mother I died with honor." Sympathy for the meth lab, and all who fight in harm's way, who hope to abolish minimum wage and charge only $15 a day. Sympathy for modern times and those who argue they're right. Sympathy for the victim who already has all the laws on their side. Sympathy for the student who's only lived in theory, in a hammer and sickle t-shirt, walking away from the barricade. Sympathy for the lawsuit and all who fought for reform. Sympathy for the bumper sticker telling you to be reborn. Sympathy for the stallion, running free and too wild to ride. Sympathy for the guy who tried, his wife cried, him and his foolish pride. Sympathy for the strawberry and the trial separations, press releases pleading for privacy, of course, doing it for the kids. Sympathy for the nihilist, sucking on his cigarette, cutting you off in traffic, no constraints of guilt or regret. Sympathy for the stalker, on his computer outside, looking up pictures of you in high school, saving each one, even if it takes him all night. Sympathy for the cowboy, whose son moved off the ranch, said he might be coming back soon, if there's no change of plans. Excuse me. Disgusting. This is called All In Together. Don't talk to me of conscience. Don't talk to me of justice. I don't care about the words. I don't care about the cult. I'm revoking the policies. I'm revoking the politics. I'm socially ambiguous. So don't wave your fucking flag in my face. You won't find me marching. You won't find me voting. You won't find me petitioning with no socialist Marxist piece of shits harassing me on the phone. I don't believe in checkerboards. I don't believe in one big soul. Individuality, me, is what I stand for. I used to be so stupid. I used to feel guilt. I used to feel responsible until I realized it was a monumentous myth. Apolitical reality is what I'm really feeling. Touching on my own mind. Let the others figure it out on their own as well. Because I'm not going off to battle anyone anytime soon. It's called People. I'm a young man closed off in this room. My name, it doesn't matter. Where I'm from, I can't tell you. I always wanted to control my own destiny, not share responsibility, so I could be free. They sent me off to college so I could learn the law. I met a lot of people, each one with a different cause. I turned myself to physics and astronomy to see if I could throw away the seeds they'd put in me. I drifted down to the south and I saw it was vast. I memorized equations on the eyeless ending sand. I knew that my superiors, they were very strong. They would put me up in space and never steer me wrong. But my expectations didn't fly. They kept me on the ground. The paperwork was drafted and I was shown around. They checked my past for arrests. My retinas were scanned. I hoped that there would come a day where I could take command. They made me go and lock the doors and cue the landing lights. It was a secret mission in the middle of the night. The burners started blaring. I crawled inside my suit, knew I wouldn't come back, even if they asked me to. I am a young man closed off in this room. My name, it doesn't matter. Where I'm from, I can't tell you. I always wanted to control my own destiny. Wanted to go and vanish up in the slipstream. The Emperor looked at the head of the horse, lifted his hand and picked out the brain, opened his mouth and smeared the remains. He dressed his servants as nymphs and pans. Little boys and the nude stayed in the pool to bite on his body while he swam. His sister said, "If breath is a blade, then desire's the cage. Claim your birthright before you're saved." Had his mother killed, made it a crime to laugh, attacked the statue whose clothes matched his own, his bleeding fist sunk into the gold. He memorized the lives of the gods. Jezebel stole him a tunic. He began planning his burial. At night, he debated with Jupiter. He saw Palatine Hill. The volcanoes were calm before the Christians burned. Diamond-tipped shovels were used to pierce the columns and arches, jewels and violins. The violins on Palatine Hill played like birds colliding in the air. The torches flared. All the grain was set glowing. The senator's body rolled back on the sheets, his speech like a paused spasm, murmuring, "I'm nursing a viper." The rest of the ward willingly succumbed immediately. In the middle of the gymnasium were booths with men in bulletproof vests giving out ballots and voluntary vaccinations to guard against contaminants. While in line, you could read pamphlets on the issues or flip to pictures of festering boils. It's slippery and strange to walk all alone. Sealed lips will keep the borders closed, and no infestations will travel north. Nothing to arrest security, just a cure to keep people in the grasp of liberty. The medicine was made with pearls dissolved in vinegar. The choice was made by pulling the lever. The searchlights were made for us by the protector. A thief entered. Everyone was roused. The wife and kids looked at the head of the house. He opened his robe and threw a small bomb. Later, standing over the intruder's body, he thought through history and spoke his favorite quote. "I want him to feel like he's dying." Free grain for everyone who asks. Free grain for everyone who enters. Wheat in exchange for marble. Wheat for the state. She takes the leather, squirms in the saddle. The dust closes her eyes. I can see the red jacket from here. Two girls climb the stairs, very poised and aware. They'd been here before, the Los Angeles smog against their backs. Two men arrive the next morning to drop off a pair of glasses and smear the window pane. The teenager can't make a sale, so he packs up his stereo equipment and his clock radio, exits out past the telephone pole. When they were done, they sat in the kitchen and carved up some watermelon. An hour later, they threw away their clothes. Young man in the backyard, the owner doesn't know he's there, taking a drink from the garden hose, drops his flashlight on the ground. He dropped his flashlight on the ground. It's called Epileptical Illusion. I have a syntax error, a frolicking banshee beast that won't leave me alone when I'm sleeping, when I'm eating, when I'm oblivioned. Like a cloud conforming to the heat, I have a syntax error that gnaws my blood cells and steals my fire. Swing distilling and apoplexic shaking, flat-earthed and triangle-hipped, withdrawn, postponed, and resequenced. I have syntax error stolen from my programs, the lethargic constraints laughing at my fits, calculating slits of immortality, wrapping iron-lung wings beyond the point of computation, boiling plasmatic revelation. I have a syntax error that cackles like a spitfly at every ounce of acne that belongs to my frame, cajoling the frenzy, consoling the dichotomy, cluttering the dirge into cellophane equivalency and carefully crafted objectivity. I have a syntax error that justifies everything I want, that tells me what to do, that tells me there's sincerity to prove, that opens up my stomach when I'm dreaming and fantasizes about infecting my acrylic soul. I have a syntax error, a galloping malapropism grafting its image inside me, laughing insidiously all around me, speaking in tongues until I don't know what to say. I have a syntax error, spine-charred, perpendicular presence of constricted paranoia that captivates my logic and obstructs my magnetically pollinated points of progression. I have a syntax error that doesn't breathe, that doesn't bleed, but gravitates in parallel lines from heart to head, producing a gelatinous strain of indecisiveness, forgetting the trains of time and the tracks of my mind. I have a syntax error that doesn't want to leave, that nightmares my DNA, that I'm slowly peeling away before I fall prey to its fangs, and I'm nothing but a machine with a syntax error. It's called Windy Sequins. Through the missing bricks, you can see a banquet table with a candelabra crooked from water-falling wax. On the other side of the missing bricks is a tablecloth with faintly gray claw stains left by mourning doves. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table, heaving with indentations from apples, persimmons, cantaloupes, and pears. On the other side, on the other side of the missing bricks, there is a deer walking in the distance, while the finger painting floats to the ground. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table, with unopened telegrams and sturdy silver trays, stacked with books about the Enlightenment. On the other side of the missing bricks, there is a pebble garden placed on a tree branch next to a mortar and pestle. Through the missing bricks, there is a banquet table, lined along the bottom right edge with bowls of cold dandelion soup. Seated 45 degrees away from the banquet table is a man with a salt and pepper waxed mustache humming waltzes and complaining about the distortions of sounds and colors. 110 years old, and he doesn't know that electric blue can be beautiful too. This is called It's All Just a Toot and a Snore. Sitting watching TV, another preacher choked by greed, and it's making my eyes bleed. It's not God that he sees, but it's money that he needs. So I asked, what is religion? Because it ain't about crucifixion or the Sermon on the Mount, because it's your pledge that counts. And I can't see why people fly to the system that's tried to buy, pry, and lie to your soul. Take control of your mind. Don't be blind. We are all divine, and you are not their kind. The litany of the Trinity holds some back, and their psyche cracks from the Bible on their backs. Don't be a slave to salvation. Make no hesitation to see what you've missed. Already on St. Pete's list, 'cause I pissed on a fundamentalist. This is called I'm Dancing with the Skeleton Key. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pinned under my belt the night after I'd had two simultaneous dreams, an ocular split screen, one where a white-tailed fawn galloped to the front door, and another where my brother couldn't sleep. I'm dancing with the skeleton key tied on a twine cord around my neck, remembering when my sister was locked in a minivan and stranded in a parking lot outside of Austin. She kissed the windows and ate the tape left in the cassette deck. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my unopened mouth, tucked behind my wisdom teeth and obscured by my tongue. I have memories that my sister still won't believe, and I wish I could have edited the 20th century. It all could have been done so much better. I'm dancing with the skeleton key scotch taped to my arm. When I was in school, the vice principal gave himself a heart condition trying to figure out who had stolen from the convenience store, and then had the gall to boast about it on the blackboard. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in the grotto of a dilapidated Catholic church, where the priest once confessed to me that after each funeral he performed, the only way he could raise his spirits was by making uneasy music with the organist. I'm dancing with the skeleton key concealed in an alley while the bells chime at midnight near the railroad and kids with no curfew dodge between dashing headlights on their way to play hide and seek in the park. I'm dancing with the skeleton key laid on the floor of a garage while my brother draws out diagrams on poster boards, connecting lines from consequences of thoughts to isolated islands of thinking, divided by unintended regression of actions. I'm dancing with the skeleton key while I am safe at home, looking at sealed bags of clothes that I stopped wearing years ago while I was running for mayor on an unconfirmed platform of leaking out information about the governor. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in an adjacent office because the evidence my brother uncovered just got delivered to the lawyer, and he predicts it will make the judge jump and remove any fucking condemnation from his mouth. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in a strip mall that used to be a swimming pool, and before that, a man-made hill that covered demilitarized waste trucked over from a Floridian base, and it will still take 100,000 years before any of it reaches its half-life. I'm dancing with the skeleton key clasped tightly in my hand as I watch my sister in the mirror speaking sentences using only one word and plant orchids next to power lines in the backyard. Then she dots the driveway with empty jars to more accurately measure the rainfall. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my pocket moving loosely with me. My brother used to cry bitterly to our parents every time he got a ticket, refuting each offense, denying that he had done any of it. I'm dancing with the skeleton key sliding uncomfortably in my shoe, but the nuisance helps give me the presence of mind to always hold up what I was taught, that when the rent is due, it's better to be full and well slept than to just hand over a blank check. I'm dancing with a skeleton key pressed into a book, watching Leaves in the Wind and a novelist at a press conference performing fake sign language, hoping it will get him the attention he wants for trying to revive the printed word. It's called Blue Soaked Scepter. The kink in my neck that runs to my kidneys, distracting me from movies I've long since memorized and repeating quotations I've lived inside of, and I've no desire to rewrite history that doesn't concern me. When what I didn't know already felt familiar, when I saw the inscription on my commemorative plaque had been worn back to smooth silver, when I slipped behind the mist, changed clothes, washed my hands, and shaved, with no light and with no intention of anyone seeing my face for a while. I was willingly walked through a coal-stained city lot and deposited in the back seat of an already running windowless army green car, which was then locked from the outside. Mary! Had I abandoned my practice? Committed an indirect affront in my brief absence? My name is Keith. The beggar at my door raised his arm, but soft, while I listened to his parables that had no center. My name is Luke. With an auspicious mistress beside me, I looked at a baby looking out a window at fluttering street signs. My name is Julia. My temper was gentle as I read a sermon called, "Are you here to celebrate the death of death?" My name is Giles. I wish that I'd been obscured when my ears were bitten with endearment while I was plainly ignored. My name is Grace. I was observed by 3 people whose accounts proved suggestible and fractured. My name is Abigail. I faced hard construction when I in truth spoke forcefully about my forged fingerprints. My name is Morgan. I spent twilight emptied save for sketching a red tunic on bent paper. My name is Brooke. I was registered in a hotel under an assumed name and made lists of families that I pitied. My name is Gabriel. I singed my hair and clothes trying to be recalled. The sky has been moonless for 29 nights. Why couldn't I stay? I was bothered by the way the streetlights hit the trees and reflected off the leaves. I took a knife and short length of rope. 6 hours later, I'm waiting for you to arrive. Carrying a scepter and wearing a breastplate with frayed shoulder blades and exhausted eyes. I'm waiting for you to arrive, sitting cross-legged on the sodden deck with wayward souls who were barely seen. I leapt off the ledge and was soon out of haunts as I climbed the concave shores, wondering if I should forage, catch a gudgeon, or eat unbruised fruit that had fallen. The gravelly guttered soil gave way to encroaching forest dense with rows of weighted wet purple limbs that succumbed to gravity and wind. Then abruptly I was in the center of a champaign, and the only objects I found were short rows of tree stumps and stones, each carved with the query, "What made you look here?" I jounced away into the odd even and was again pursued by the thicket's reach. The thorns licked my calves, the anthills shone like pebbled glass. I brushed past a frog with a violet tongue and discolored teeth, who gulped for relief while his body remained static like a splayed thread in aspic. I made my way into the anners and found myself prating, "Prithee, pray tell what you remember of working your hands into the mud and feeling it curl underneath your fingernails." It felt like a relic reunited with its original setting, after having been figured lost or only seen in a dream. Betimes I glanced around for the traveling lamp while standing beside the curvature, hearing myself to datelessly abandon vizards and leasing and be faithfully young-eyed. I returned once more to the champagne and sat among the stones in silence. But I received no visions or visitations, no inspiration to invent an incantation, and in this vacuum of communication, I only experienced the sense, or perchance, suggestion of the imposing press of eras and atmosphere. And now I notice this restless weather, shy beams of sunlight moving sideways through the strings of remaining rain. It's called Milky Skies. For 3 weeks, I've seen the sky as one color stretched over a muted spectrum, and I've heard tiny handbells clang at irregular intervals. Without forethought, I was in a state of unstable concentration, with my sense of decency tested. I stared at celeste-colored veins and remembered how they were made. I was reminded of the worm, thankful to be placed back in the dirt after suffering a 2-inch gash on its side from careless shoveling. The youngest lady stops weeping and waiting and steps into invisibility, her velvet-lined pockets filled with small wreaths of braided blue stems. While embarrassed at how much she once admired her mother's brooches, she now fully blushes at her wish to own an ocean full of stone. Her friends repeatedly requested questions, only furthers her hesitation, so she leaves a small note of explanation. Life is grossly inelegant in its demands that one must impatiently forget chores performed with red impressions left intact from knots affixed to ankles and wrists, as if the sores never existed in the first place. Shock of copper curls, cerulean halos in his eyes, considers his environment with his shoulders pinned back, adjusts his balance, and stands straight up in his raft. The one idea that has possessed him so vanishes out from his mind, pierces the sea, then its velocity escapes gravity and reaches away past the sky. But he fears no lack of purpose or whether this time has been meaningless. He has total devotion to the base truth of his vocation. His ankles give way and he falls back gently, lands on his hands. While some water splashes in, he considers those who would deride his actions and thinks, I don't require any clothes. I'd rather remain naked for everyone. I felt watched when I first voluntarily gave away confidential information, then tried to explain the layout of San Antonio to a stranger who never knew I'd never been there before. And now his minutes become limitless. Any vows I made always sustained me. I felt watched when my thinking was clean and capable of strict reasoning, and I rode along freshly painted runways, left notes on license plates, brambles and high chairs, and now, as lassitude disintegrates, any vows I made remain unchanged. I felt watched when my legs were bathed in a heat as persistent and unruly as a bat taunting a seal, repeatedly landing on its shoulder and squealing. And now, as fury impassively fades, any vows I made could never break. I felt watched when I attended 10 drawing classes and attempted to finish a full circle freehand without interference between thought and motion. And now that my hands are patient, any vows I made are everything. Here she flies, and now we know if the promises made more than 10 years ago have been kept. Here she flies, with 2 pens, rosary, brass paperweight, earrings, locket, and measurements written on a business card. Here she flies. Gums and hair are receded, a miniature brace for a baby wrapped in grade hardened plastic. Here she flies with an oxygen tank bubbling ceaselessly, a UHF channel on the television showing an old western silently. Here she flies while I stand with tentative confirmation, a glass of thickened water and 3 empty white boxes. Here she flies with skin like marble over winding staircases and rooms with seafoam colored walls and intimidating machinery. It's just us here, huh? And I can say anything to you. Anything at all that I want to say. Well, here it is. This is 1001, I suppose. I was traveling across Missouri and I saw the floods. The water waved like eyelids draped over the heavens. I came to the caverns and lit a fire. I left a drawing of my own, an elephant with a broken back. A 6-year-old cracked some sticks and made a puddle of wine. In the fog hovered the pestilence, dusted with cicada wings and bats. The cockroaches had incisors and ate a meal of matchsticks. I met the mayor. We watched a lunch line kick a dog. We stole light bulbs from a factory, wrote a novel and a play, and then burned it all. Let me tell you about starving and lust in your mouth. Because I've never missed a meal and I won't start now. I've never seen that many rodents migrating south, and 10,000 blood vessels turn inside out, and 20 boats capsize, and a Chinese dragon get caught in an updraft, windshields and storefronts snapping in half. On the battlefield, none of this is real. My hands have been sliced open with leather and steel. Rivulets of blood and dirt cover my scabs and wounds. I spun on my heels and I look around at the land. I was surrounded by dead bodies and I had to believe that this wasn't part of the plan. So I threw down my gun and yelled at the sky. And I said, God, you bring whatever hell you want to on me, because I'm not afraid to die. And the earth's rotation sped up and I cried out, hallelujah. And I saw squirrels and worms clinging to the dirt, almost paralyzed. And cannons started flying forward, and lightning blinded my eyes, and I saw the door on either side, and I was not terrified. I saw the path I had to take for the rest of my life. Lightning projected onto an infinite expanse of space. Every instinct played without fear of fate, an imperceptible mist keeping me awake. Blue air, blue skies, blue land, radium and spring water, holding reservoirs in my hands. And I come to, with my brother standing over my face, crying because he thought I was gone. And I bolted upright and using his shoulder, leapt to my feet and I ran away hollering. Will there be liberty or judgment? Or are you going to look for a drink in a dry riverbed? Do you want to be cleansed in dusty rocks? Try to wrangle yourself out of chains and just get encrusted in flakes of rust? That man over there don't care about what happens to you or who you pledge your duty to. Will you toil in drudgery when honor and dignity will stop you from crawling? Will you accept death's sting and impassively function like a ghost, like a legging on the Great Spirit? Or will you cast off this burden, this bondage, and find joy in better things? Death! Death! I take the trumpet from your mouth! Death! Death! I want to drown out your sound! Death! Death! I puncture your drum! I will not march! And I will not watch! Death! Death! The fear overcomes me, but I shall not succumb! Death! Death! I will continue to laugh! You will not seize my spirit while I sleep! I will stand victorious over your sarcophagus and bury it in Stickney! I will use my will at your most evil! I will starve instead of choking on your cattle! I won't keep any secrets, and I will stand as I am! And the front market cars were floating away. Wind was fiercely blowing. The flags were hoisted, faces filled with roiling rage. An ambulance sped by. A deer was tied to the top. The school nurse broke through the front door, used her hands to dig into the ground, then emptied the contents of her purse out. She fled hysterically. Searchlights pierced the day. Sirens were silenced. Buzzing mutated to stillness. Birds gathered in small circles. The trees and roads looked sore. People's chests and arms bruised. I saw a signal from the window and took a picture for proof. I counted the change in my pocket. I remembered Tony and Teo and Maria and Mima's phone number. I was a boy and they couldn't get me off the swings. And now I can fly, so I never stop. I always would wish to observe overhead, weightless, straightforward, irresponsible, endless, adroit, fast, far above, picking out the doves from the seagulls. And I wonder who'll fall for fuel and travel to another coast in a nameless group and export a bullfrog to the mountains, sell paper towels from their patio, cancel the credit of the branch vice president, and kick a Honda on the grill, and pluck staccato strings for their score, and steal toothbrushes from CVS, and spread their legs for the solution, and hang naked from a tree in Ibiza, and write a slogan that fits on my wrist. I did not write this. Two incredibly wonderful human beings wrote this. This is for all of us. Charlie is my darling. This is for you, Charlie. This is for Andrew. This is for Keith and Bill and Brian and John and Paul and George and Ringo and John and Jim and Robbie and Ray and Sid and Mary Ann and Donald and Orson and Perry and Tracy and Carlton and Alan and so many others. This is for all of us. This is for all, and of course, for Bob, and for Beth, and somewhere out there, and some with fractions within fractions within fractions within fractions, George, too. This is called Jigsaw Puzzle. There's a tramp sitting on my doorstep, trying to waste his time with his methylated sandwich. He's a walking clothesline. And here comes the bishop's daughter on the other side. And she looks a trifle jealous. She's been an outcast all her life. And me, I'm waiting so patiently, lying on the floor. I'm just trying to do my jigsaw puzzle before it rains anymore. Oh, the gangster looks so frightening with his Luger in his hand. But when he gets home to his children, he's a family man. Family man. I want to crucify you with nails from your well-stocked garage. Family man. Family man. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty, he can shove in his knife. Yes, he looks quite religious. He's been an outlaw all his life. And me, I'm waiting so patiently, lying on the floor. I'm just trying to do this jigsaw puzzle before it rains anymore. Well, the singer, he looks angry at being thrown to the lions. And the bass player, he looks nervous about the girls outside. And the drummer, he's so shattered trying to keep up time. And the guitar players look damaged. They've been outcasts all their lives. And me, I'm waiting so patiently, lying on the floor. I'm just trying to do this jigsaw puzzle before it rains anymore. And there's 20,000 grandmas waving their hankies in the air, all burning up their pensions and shouting, "It's not fair." There's a regiment of soldiers standing looking on. and the queen is bravely shouting, "What the hell is going on?" With a blood-curdling tally-ho, she charged into the ranks, and blessed all those grandmas who with their dying breath screamed thanks. Me, I'm just waiting so patiently, with my woman on the floor. We're just trying to do this jigsaw puzzle before it rains anymore. And one more time for John. We love you. We love John. We love you, John. We love you, John. You say you found Jesus Christ and he's the only one. You say you found Buddha sitting in the sun. You say you found Mohammed facing to the east. You say you found Krishna dancing in the streets. Well, there's something missing in this God Almighty shoe, and it's your mother. Your mother don't give a fuck about you. You better serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. Yeah, serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. Well, you may believe in devils and you may believe in lords, but go out and serve yourself now. Ain't no room service here. It's still the same old story. A bloody holy war. A fight for love and glory. Ain't gonna study war no more. A fight for God and country. We're gonna set you free or put you back in the Stone Age. If you don't be like me, get it? You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. You gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. Well, you may believe in devils and you may believe in lords, but Christ, you're gonna have to serve yourself, and that's all there really is to it. So get right back here. It's in the bloody fridge. God, when I was a kid, didn't have stuff like this. TV fucking dinners, all that crap. You fucking kids are all the fucking same. Want a fucking car now? Lucky to have a pair of shoes. Well, you say you found Jesus Christ. Well, that's great, and he's the only one. And you say you just found Buddha sitting on his ass in the sun. And you say you found Muhammad kneeling on a bloody carpet facing the east. And you say you found Krishna with a bald ass dancing in the street. Well, Christ, now, you gotta serve yourself. Ain't nobody gonna do for you. You gotta serve yourself. That's right, better. You better get that straight in your fucking head. You gotta serve yourself. You know that better. Who else is gonna do it for you? It ain't me, kid, I'll tell you that. Well, you may believe in Jesus, and you may believe in Marx, and you may believe in Marks and Spencers, and you may believe in bloody werewolves, but it's something missing in this whole bloody stew. And it's your mother! Your poor bloody mother! She got fire in the back bedroom full of piss and shit and fucking midwives. God, you give the guy there all the moment. Yeah, you would have been in the bloody war, lad. You would know all about it, but I'll tell you something. It's still the same old story. A holy bloody war, you know, the Pope and all that sort. A fight for love and glory. Ain't gonna study war no more. Fight for God and country, you know, the Queen and all that. We're gonna set you free. Put you back in the fucking Stone Age. If you don't do like me, you know, get on your knees and pray. Well, there's something missing in this God Almighty stew, and it's God, your goddamn mother, you dirty little kid. Now get in there and wash your ears. And that, folks, is another exciting edition of the quarantine stream. We hope that you have hope you've enjoyed it. By the grace of God, we will be back next week. Let us hear one more time the quarantine stream theme, shall we? Beautiful. So by the grace of God, we will be back next week. I'm pretty confident that we will be. Until then, everyone, stay safe, stay smart. And here's the really important part that I keep hammering away at every single fucking week. Stay free, because you already are. You already are. You already are. You already are free. And do not trust anyone who tells you that you are not free, because they are a snake oil salesman. And they are trying to fuck with you and ruin your fucking life. Stay free, because you already are fucking free. Got that? Yes. All right. Like I said, we'll see you next week. Hope you've enjoyed watching this. Until next time, boys and girls, bye.